Hi, I'm Ewan Hills from ArtMob, Australia's #1 Aboriginal art gallery. Why #1? Because today we're about to launch an exhibition for my very close friend Bungie, also known as Sam Juparulla Wickman. Sam is Australia's foremost Indigenous glass artist, and he's here today to present over 20 of his glass pieces that he's made over the last few months, along with some wonderful paintings that talk about his landscape, talks about his ceremony, and talks about his knowledge of Central Australian culture. Here's Sam to talk to you.
Okay, thanks Ewan. Thank you very much for having me back in Hobart and for all your support over the years that we've been collaborating together. And tonight, indeed, Ewan has mentioned that I have a collection of 20 glass shields with my designs on them. My glass technique is a fusing technique called warm slumping, and I've used the material cultural object of a shield and use that as a shape in all of my shields you'll see here today. What's behind my glass is the fact that Indigenous peoples use glass readily before contact and during contact as a material cultural object. And today I'm reflecting that. However, I've put my designs on here from places I've been to. I haven't put exactly what's on that rock shelter. However, I've shown something similar. And on this piece here particularly, I have a man dancing at a waterhole with his boomerangs doing the frog dreaming. And back in the day, we had dreadlocks. I also use my culture and knowledge to show what's in the sky. Not just what's on the land, but what's in the sky. For example, juju, a very important element in our cultural ceremonies. Juju is commonly known as the Southern Cross, and it's a director for us. It shows us a variety of seasonal patterns and gives us direction when travelling through the deserts. I come, more importantly, from the Luritja and Aranda groups of Central Australia. I am fortunate that my mother has links to the Nyakadajara and Pindajara people. And my expressions shows that country. For example, here we have the sand dunes of the Simpson Desert or the Gibson Desert, with all the major waterholes which are situated in the sand dunes that we know of, we can readily access while travelling. Additionally, back up to the sky again, we have the story of my mother and my father in the Warlpiri terms. We have the Jagamara, is the evening star and the morning star, and all the Napajaras, his wives, commonly known as the Seven Sisters. As I said, the evening and the morning star. Here is a ceremony I participated in from the Tanami Desert called the Mala ceremony, where we travel from the Tanami Desert and we can go right down to Lake Eyre with that songline through Central Australia. Another one is an essential part of all human life, which is Napa. We call Napa, which is water. In Aranda, that's Warlpiri. In Aranda, we call it Quadja. So it's a very important element in our landscape. In all societies, it was and still is. Here, this is my mother's country, showing the ranges on the southwestern area of Central Australia and the sand dunes. That's why it's in black and white. It's on the western side because our body designs in ceremony from the west are black and white. So this is my mother's country, the waterholes in the ranges and the sand dunes we pass through. And again, I've used information from a petroglyphic design from south of Alice Springs, but I've turned it around to make it my story particularly. And my story is from Central Australia, and the people I live with and ceremony with are the Warlpiri, the Aranda, the Luritja, the Nyakatjara and the Pidnijara people. And here we have a site where we are coming in and meeting the males from one end, the females from the other, in the mountain ranges here. So a very important site to us, but modified for my purposes. In Alice Springs, this is a major feature in the landscape. It's called the Dog Rim, or Ngulya. 4 and main hills within Alice Springs that I know that pertain to that dog dreaming. And again, this piece of glass symbolises my participation in ceremony, and I won't talk too much about that because that's sacred business. Here we have the Wana, and the Wana who is dominant not only in the landscape, but you can see him in the sky on occasions. Here is Kayumpa, commonly known today as Pine Gap. And that's significant to us as a landscape because it's where our children first start their ceremonial activity. And you can see on some of the rock faces their handprints of young children who have just been through the first stage of ceremony. And I feature the dog dreaming readily in a lot of my paintings. And I show here going through all of those McDonald ranges through Central Australia, whether it be the east across to the west. Again, that story, you can go all the way down to Uluru, Lake Eyre and the Great Australian Bight. And again, here we have that sacred object, our dingo, and he travels through my country with a songline followed by the Warlpiri, the Aranda, the Luritja, the Nyakatjara and the Pidnijara people. And I have a nice glass piece here with the Seven Sisters, with the Jacamara and the Nabaljaris, and the technique I've used here has allowed me to keep the frit sparkling. And I did that through my firing technique when I made it. Again, our most important symbol on the ground and in the sky is the Wana. My ceremony colours again, which I'm very proud to have undertaken. And here we have the Western McDonald Ranges. And I call that black and white ceremony. And I've made it so it moves on the edges like a Juparulla. It's a grub. It's an itchy grub, we call them. But a Juparulla is synonymous with the McDonald Ranges in Central Australia. This is my country, where I was born, where my father and my grandmother have great cultural links to. It's commonly known as Alice Springs, and this represents the Todd River and the Charles Creek. We don't call it those names. Alice Springs is called Mbarntwa, and what flows through Mbarntwa is called Luritupa. So this is consequently called Luritupa through Mbarntwa country, and it highlights a couple of areas where I grew up and played when I was a child. Again, my mother's country, in black and white, with the ranges and the sand dunes coming through there. So I hope you enjoy my collection.